Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Vishawn Jones, visionary of Fedora Outlier LLC. And before I get started with this particular conversation, I'd like to say thank you all for any vets out there that are listening and that will listen in the future. Anyone out there that has family members that have served in our armed forces, I thank you. Fedora Outlier LLC thanks you, and we really appreciate the freedom that you fought for, and allowed us to be able to have a platform such as this one to be able to speak our minds. This particular conversation is near and dear to me because it speaks to the solution of what we're dealing with in America with those that are disabled and are actively seeking employment. Those of you all that are watching, I don't know what you're looking at. I'm actually in my office, two microphones, and I'm talking through both of them for two different purposes. So if you're seeing me, then I don't have on the fedora, um, and I'm in my robe, and I am drinking coffee because usually at this time it is the proverbial cup of coffee time. But what I want to do is break down the board meeting that the Georgia Vocational Rehabilitation Services had in Georgia on this past week, and just give some commentary as to what's going on. As you know, Fedora Outlier and other subsidiaries and agents work around the country with our government in several capacities. And I'm all for good business, good systems. I'm all for our government, both federal, local, Department of Education, all of that great stuff. What people would say, in the bed with all of that. But I think if I'm going to be in the bed with someone, I want it to be a great experience, no pun intended. So I work very, very hard for those of us that are disabled to become employed. I really, truly believe in finding or creating work that is meaningful, purposeful, and profitable. My best friend Giorgio Vickers has always stated, when you got $1,000 in your pocket, you'll walk a little different. And after becoming blind, and I got my first $1,000, and I'm standing beside the guy who said it, yeah, we had a swag, needless to say. So let's break down this board meeting. All right, so Sean, he told us to call him Sean. I'm calling you Sean. My name is Vashawn, and we'll have a meeting soon, and we'll kind of talk about all this and extrapolate it and really get to the bottom of what needs to take place. So here's what we got. He's welcomed in, sits back, listens, kind of talks about his pedigree. You guys got to remember, at this level, as the director of Georgia Vocational Rehabilitation Agency, these people are appointed. And it's almost like me as the visionary and owner and founder of Fedora saying, hey, I want this guy to be my director of teaching. It's somebody that I like, that I appoint, that I feel will do a good job. And let's talk about the job. What is the job? Is the job to increase the employment for the disabled? I don't know. So nevertheless, in this board meeting, we moved from that to what I believe was a passing to create a policy for the board members to be able to have their expenditures paid for in advance, so that there's no out-of-pocket reimbursement costs to them when, for example, if they were to be chosen to go to conventions inside or out of the state, whatever the case may be. Kevin Harris, amazing guy. I always love Kevin. He's just super cool with it. States the current laws and guidance and section whatever The board passes, of course, to create a policy for their expenditures as a voluntary body to be paid for upfront. I'm not going to comment on that. I think it's great, you know, for what it's worth. At that point, I don't know where we really moved to after that as far as business. In this board meeting, we talked about a couple of programs, the E3 and the whole educational thing. And of course, it's the philosophy that if we reach them while they're young, then they'll have a better chance of becoming employed when they get older. That's the mindset, and that's what's being spoken around the country. Sounds good, works in theory, but you got to have an outcome at the end. I can tell my child all day, do this, do that, do this, do that, and at the end, are the opportunities really there? When you have people with master's degrees working at J.C. Penney's for $12 an hour, you know. All right. So, nevertheless, we go from the whole E3 thing, and it stands for something that the education, employment, I don't know, whatever. It's a program, and you guys know that with any program, if any line on that program doesn't work, then the program doesn't work. So, you know, take it for what it's worth. We move from there to Project Horizon. Project Horizon. Think of the name, Project Horizon. It's 2016. Jesus Christ. And the gentleman, I couldn't see, sounds like an older gentleman, and probably by the time this program actually kicks off, he'll probably be retired, and we'll be talking about a new project. But nevertheless, Project Horizon has about 50 pages, literally 50 pages of organizational charts and hierarchy of who's in charge of what and where and when and how. Let me let that moment breathe for a minute. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. "50 pages of individuals who are supposed to be managing cases. A lot of the positions haven't been filled. I can pretty much guarantee that they're not going to be filled by someone with a disability, which brings me to the point of we have everyone getting paid to rehabilitate the disabled, and the disabled aren't even in the conversation. That's our fault. That's our fault. We need to be a part, an integral part, a majority part of the conversation. Bottom line, you have individuals without disabilities making law for those of us with disabilities. We need to be at the table. We're politicking the wrong politics. Who gives a crap who's the next NFB president, ACB president, and including the president of the United States? Who cares? Where it matters is where it hits you the most. If you're not in Washington, it's not affecting you. By the time the stimulus money got to you, it was damn near gone. Let's be honest. We're at the bottom of the totem pole. Hence the organizational chart. By the time it trickles down to you, it's so much steam that has been lost through those 50 pages of This coordinator and the coordinator of this and the coordinator of that and that coordinates this. They all got jobs. Okay. So we moved past Project Horizon and the gentleman with his posse. Yes, he actually used the word posse. And then we go to, well, we skipped over the provider update. I wonder what that was about. But we'll find out very shortly. And then we went to public comment. And so I had my comments, and I'll continue to have those comments. But more importantly, I'll continue to work to make sure that you guys all across the United States, it's not just in Georgia, these conversations are happening all across the United States. What do we do with employment for the disabled? What do we do? And guess what? If they're asking questions, now's the time to give them answers. Now, if you don't know yourself, get with a mentor or an apprentice and find out what that job entails and find out what it is that you want to do. Come up with a plan to do it. Write it down and present it to your counselor. I get calls all the time. Hey, I want to be a health coach, but my counselor said I can't. I want to be an author, but my counselor say she's never closed the case, or they've never closed the case as an author. I want to do podcasting. They've never heard of a podcast. It's our job to educate about our goals and our life. It's not the government's job. I'm not mad at them. You can't get mad at someone for not knowing how to do their job when it's never been done before. So I get the unique opportunity to travel all around the United States and talk to directors for various programs so that we can become, as a disabled culture, community, family, and make that $1,000 and make that $10,000 and make that $100,000 and make $1 million. Or how about Dr. Dre? How about $1 billion? We have all the resources in the world free to us. If you come up with a plan, you can be the employer of disabled individuals. You come up with that idea, you find the right team to implement that idea, you present it to the right people, you can be the employer. I help people all across the world, literally, find or create work that is meaningful, purposeful, and profitable. And that's why I hold value around the world, because our government doesn't know how to do that. They haven't been mandated to do that until now. That's why you have Fedora Outlier LLC. You have Fedora Outlier LLC to show that from $0 to a 7-figure business with the help of our government and the will to want to change the world so that everyone who wants to work can work It's your entrepreneurial ideas that are going to catapult the work that other individuals that are disabled just like you are going to be able to do. We've had decades of the government telling us this. They're not bad. They just don't know. And you can't get mad at someone for not knowing. Ignorance is not bad. Staying ignorant is. When I spoke, I told them, I said, people say, well, Vashawn, you made it. Why? Why even be here? We've done our job. Leave us alone. And it's for those people who walk into that counselor's office and the counselor tells them no, and then they call me, and then we have to march back in there with a solid plan and the rules and the laws, and then their case is closed. Over and over and over again. But people living with disability, we have to arm ourselves with what we want. We have to know how to get it. And if you don't know how to get it, get with somebody who has gotten it so that we can teach you. So this has been a long one. The board meeting was long. We pretty much talked about little of nothing. It was really a space filler. We had a lot of snipes at Greg, and of course they're going to finger point and say, well, it's their fault, it's Department of Labor, and we had to transition with the IT, and now we have this in place, and it's going to be an excuse after excuse after excuse. And we've heard it all before. But guess what? We can change it. And you can look good. The government can look good. And we can change the world. Let's figure out what a 26 closure, look it up, what it looks like. And let's start employing people that look like us, people that are disabled like us. And let's change the world together. Sorry, y'all, on Periscope. I had it on a camera rig.